Welcome to the virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. Please, everyone, welcome to your screen, Suzette Veneti.
Hi. So, really nothing happened in the news there was news, things are opening up, people are going out, people are trying to figure out how to wear masks. Some people still can't figure out that it needs to cover all the holes that go to their lungs, the nose holes and the mouth holes, and they're just wearing it over the mouth, which is wrong, or they're wearing it under their chin to, hide an extra chin, and they're not covering their mouth or their nose. That's also wrong. I don't really have anything funny to say about that, and otherwise the news is depressing. So I'm going to go ahead and not do some jokes and just get to the show. But really quick before I do, I just wanted to say that we put up everyone's Venmo. And if you watching out there feel like you have anything to contribute to any of the contributors or the interview guests, go for it, because we're all out of work right now. But maybe you are too, and that's okay, and then you don't have to contribute. We just appreciate you watching the show. So thank you for watching the show, whether you're hitting the Venmo or not, unless you're my ex-wife's lawyer, and then hit that Venmo. What else? Stab virtual tickets. Stab has virtual tickets now, so go ahead and if you want to buy a virtual ticket to support the show, how can they do that?
The virtual tickets can be bought through the Facebook event. You click on the ticket on there, and that takes you there. Or you can just go to the website, stabcomedytheater.com. Right on the front page, we have our schedule of events that are streaming. Click on any of the logos of any of the shows. It'll take you to that show's page where you will see a virtual ticket link, and you can buy that there. And we'll for every virtual ticket, we're splitting the proceeds with the producers of the shows, just to make sure that some's getting out to them. So 50-50 with the theater and the producers, giving them just a little bit.
So that's how you guys can get a virtual ticket if you want to get a virtual ticket. That also helps support Stab, which is good, because without Stab we couldn't do the show and bring the show to you. So I think that's everything I need to say. I'm going to say we're ready for the first contributor. Let's get Chelsea Bearce in here.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm so good. I was almost late to the show because I was watching the last episode of 90 Day Fiancé. So sorry about that. Oh my God. Do you watch it?
I do. Who was on the last episode? I haven't seen it.
Well, I didn't. No. We finished 90 Day Fiancé, the regular season.
Oh.
We were watching 90 Day Fiancé after the 90 days. So this was like the follow-up season, like what happens now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. It's so dramatic. I can't even handle it. I'm obsessed with it.
I like the follow-up show better because it helps get everything out that you were already thinking. You're like, they're not going to last. They're not going to last.
Right.
And,
absolutely. Yeah. Yes. I was obsessed with it. Do you watch it? You watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Fisa and George. I can't. I'm so obsessed with them. Oh my God. So dramatic for absolutely no reason. It's so extra, and I'm living for it.
I want to say they're my... Okay, so they're like tied. They're my tied for favorite couple ever because she makes no secrets about the fact that she's only there for the green card and the money.
Thank you. Oh, there was no hiding that at all.
No.
She's like, you said you were rich. You said you're going to buy me shit, and you didn't, so I'm out. Like.
Yeah. And he's like, no, I love you. And it's like, George, why would you? But she's not. I don't think she's that pretty to command that, but I think she's that pretty for him, if that makes sense.
Oh, shit. All right. Throwing shade early. Okay. I'm with it. Okay. I would date George in a second. I'm just saying. So I'm going to need you to tuck that in. But anyway, I was watching it with my roommate, and I was like, this show is very fascinating because it equally makes me, jealous that I'm not in a relationship, but also, never want to be in a relationship again. It's amazing how it does both.
Well, it makes you definitely not want to be in a relationship with somebody who just wants a green card.
I mean, okay. Yes.
For sure
that is obvious. Yes, it's true. So anyway, but what I wanted to tell you, because Me and Suzette are both stand-up comics. We both do stand-up comedy. This is something that we do. And so when comics go on the road, a lot of times you'll have like road stories that happen when you're on the road. So I thought maybe it would be fun to tell you kind of a horror story of me on the road, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So I went on the road with a dear friend of ours named Sydney Steigertz, who is a Sacramento-based comic.
Yep.
And her and I went on the road, and we went up to Wairika and Weed, California. Okay, not Eureka, Wairika, which is damn near Oregon. Okay, I mean it's nothing but just pickup trucks, weed, and failure. Like that's all that's there. It's absolutely horrible. So we go up there and do stand-up shows it was a weekend. Okay. So we went up there and we went to Wairika. We went to this busted ass bar to do stand-up. We do stand-up and then we end up taking like anyone under the age of 40 back to a bar just so that we can drink and see what this town is about. It had one bar, okay? Like our options were very low, all right? So we go to this bar and there's one guy that has any potential at all to have any of my time, okay? He's worse than George to you, Suzette, okay?
I was gonna say, would you date him like 90 Day Fiance style?
No, absolutely not. No. Okay. Now, would I fuck him and never talk to him again? Sure. Why not? There's enough alcohol in Wairika. It's fine. Okay.
Best option in Wairika, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we're there, we're drinking, we're hanging out, we're, getting drunk, blah, 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 blah. And then he starts talking, and that's when I realized, oh, I can't have sex with you. Have you ever done that? Have you ever had a conversation with someone, and then that's when you're like, oh, that we can't fuck? You know what I mean? Have you ever had that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like the nodding. This is an interactive thing. I'm going to ask you questions. So I was realizing that I couldn't fuck him, but he wasn't realizing that I was turning myself off. Like I was drying my own vagina out. I'm like, this is not going to happen. We're done. So I end up drinking my face off to the point of I have to go outside and throw up in the bushes. Okay. So I excuse myself like a motherfucking lady and I go out and I throw up in the bushes, right? I come back. I still sing karaoke because I'm a badass bitch. So I sing karaoke, right? Mm-hmm. And then me and Sydney go back to our hotel room, right? Now Sydney picked up her own little piece of trash that lives in Wairika, and her and this chick end up fucking in the bathroom while I'm asleep, okay? They end up having sex in the bathroom. I'm dead asleep. In the morning when I wake up, I see this trash man who I was like, we're not having sex, next to me in bed. He just showed up and crawled into bed next to me. And I was like, excuse me, the balls that a Wairika man has, this is absolutely inappropriate, right? What would you do if you woke up? What would you do if you woke up and found a dude that you were not trying to have sex with next to you in bed?
I'd scream and then I'd like hit him, just like with anything that was near me. The phone, I guess. I'd hit him with the phone. Yeah, I like that you first grabbed a folding fan, like you would have that next to you in bed. I like that was your first choice. I would. No, it's 100%. So then we end up having to leave. We kick everybody out of our hotel room because apparently we had a party and we didn't even know it. But we kick everybody out of our hotel room, and then we have to drive a half hour to Weed. So then we drive a half hour to Weed, right? We get in our hotel room, we hang out, we da-da-da-da, and then we go and do the show there at a golf course, right? This is a very nice place. This is a step up from the Wairika place. No throwing up in the bushes. This was a Class C joint. So we go to this place in Wairika, and not only is there a very attractive man there who I was like, yes, you will do for the evening, sir. Yes, I choose you. But the group that busted into our hotel room in Wairika busted into the golf course in Weed, and they crashed our party. No. Yes. That sounds terrible. So, did Sydney invite them? Wait, did Sydney invite them? No. Okay. No. Okay. But they were looking up like where we were going to be and stuff, because there's only so many places that can do stand-up comedy up there where, people go to, lose their dreams and hopes. So it's fine. It's totally fine. So no one from there is watching this. It's okay. I mean, stand-up comedy is also where people go to lose their dreams and hopes, like depending on who you are. Watch your.
So they show up to this party, and we end up going, and hanging out with the group of people that we wanted to hang out with. And these people ended up losing their minds. They were so addicted to us. Even to this day, Sydney is telling me that this thirsty ass bitch is still texting her like, come and get me, da 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 da, and fucking weed. Come and get me. No, I don't care how thirsty you are. You can't let people know.
Well, I mean, it really sounds like the two things that we've talked about are connected. Like, that is, like, weed and Wairika are a third world country.
Yeah.
Let's
that's why I wanted to talk about it. Yes.
Let's say a third world county, because they're counties. Like, it's a county up there in California, right?
Yes.
So it's a third world county, and they're like, save me, bring me back to the big city, Sacramento.
Right. That's exactly what's going on. So it was totally 90 Day Fiance with what happened with it, and we were like, no, we cannot save you. We're not giving you your green card. You're only doing this for the money. Get the fuck out of here. I don't love you anymore. Get out. Like, I mean, it was absolutely atrocious. That was the last horror story on the road. So that's my story today.
I haven't, I mean.
And weed. That is let me tie it up. My gift to you. Don't do it.
Well, I mean, first of all, if I go to Wairika, I want to find the bakery and take a picture in front of the Wairika bakery because it's a palindrome. And I think that's it. Then I'd leave town. I'd be done. So. Right.
There's nothing to do there except, I mean, me throwing up in the bushes was the most exciting thing that's happened in that town since 1973. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw up in the bushes also. Like if I go with you.
Yes.
Maybe if we do a show in Portland, we can stop and like take pictures by the bushes.
Done.
It sounds like that's all there is, right?
Absolutely. I'm with it. So anyway, watch 90 Day Fiance. Don't ever go to Wairika or weed and throw up in the bushes of a shit ass town. There you go. Thank you for letting me be on the show.
One follow up.
Oh, we're not done. Yes.
What happened with the really attractive guy at the golf course?
Oh man, we went up to the attic of this amazing bar after we played pool, and I kicked his ass, and we had sex on a couch, and it was phenomenal, and I've never talked to him again.
That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Just like that. Thank you, Chelsea. Love you. The lessons you impart. Love you too. All right, Peers and Queers. That was Chelsea Bearce. Follow her on social media. When all this is over, find her in person. Probably not in Wairika or Weed, but maybe lower in Northern California where we live, in Benicia and Sacramento and San Francisco and those places. That's where you can find Chelsea. And with that, I'm going to bring on our next contributor, Clifton. Clifton, can you hear me?
Hey.
How
you doing?
How are you?
You know, just drinking with my cats as usual, over here and over here, so.
That's what we do in pandemic times. We drink with our animals.
We do.
Yeah. Did you see the Saturday Night Live skit where they were like, let your kids drink, and then it turned into let your pets drink? Did you see it?
But did you see the Saturday Night Live skit with the masterclass of Britney Spears?
Yes.
That, I haven't watched SNL in probably like 5 or 6 years, but whoever that actress is, she played her to a T. Like, it was so scary how, like, accurate it was of her Instagram posts and stuff like that, though. But, you know, her Instagram is just her twirling in her garden and her big old mansion, and she burned down her gym and everything. So it was very spot on. It was very spot on.
Chloe Fineman is the actress.
Yes.
I just want to say that I also have a mean Britney, so maybe one day you'll look out your window and see me filming a little Britney video. Like, because now I've been challenged.
No candles, though. No candles, please.
I'm sorry, that's how you do Britney nowadays. Candles, working out, knock one over. Oops, I did it again. I burned down my gym. Did she? I don't know if she said that. Did she? She probably said that.
Probably.
Okay. Well.
But for a week of no one leaving their house, there still has been a lot going on within the last week or so. If many of you are not aware, there's this wonderful garbage piece of a human being named Ian Frost. He is a porn star in New York. He had a Rona rave on Cinco de Mayo, house full about 50 or 60 guys, all sweaty, circuit party, things that if it was a pre-Rona world, who wouldn't really care about? And, everyone's entitled to do what they want to do in their own homes, but don't be stupid. Why would you put this on the internet and then get all like, oh, they're coming for me? Girl, we're in a pandemic and you having a party at your house with 60 sweaty guys and no mask, no sanitizer, y'all licking each other and everything like that. We know what goes on at circuit parties. We know what goes on at circuit parties. And then he does the whole apology tour and everything else, the little fake, like staring to the camera. Somebody probably has a piece of paper with what he needs to say. And girl, his eyes were like twitching like the teacher off of Daria. His eyes were like this, and like he was like this. And I was like, girl, are you coming down? Like, what's going on? And then here's the kicker, Suzette. Come to find out, these boys got a little YouTube reality show going on about the circuit party things. And I was like, so you mean to tell me y'all done did all this for a little clout? Okay. I get it. I ain't watching it though, but I get it. But
could you,
to each their own.
Could you tell my viewers, in case they don't know what a circuit party is, could you tell us what a circuit party is?
A circuit party is something that people like me don't really go to, but you get my drift. It's where a lot of muscular, fit gays go and they dance to techno music and some illicit drugs happen and a lot of body contact, making out and things of that nature, but not really my thing. But if that's your thing, go ahead. But
why is it called a circuit party?
Yeah.
No, but why? I mean, do we know why it's called a circuit party?
That part I don't know. I mean, are they circuiting drugs? They circuiting DNA, or maybe it's just because of the music. I'm not. It's weird because I just started DJing last year, but even that kind of music is not really like my zhush. Yeah. But I mean, a lot of the girls, they love those things. It's like a rave, really, but more on like the gay side.
Like a gave.
So, yeah, that's basically what it is. So, and then between that and then I have one thing to get off of my chest. And it takes a lot to really kind of piss me off. But last week, I don't know what it is. Everyone just thinks that they are Miss Cleo or whoever the other lady was that passed away that can tell the future. Clearly she couldn't because she died.
Oh,
but
Dionne Warwick.
Oh, no, not her. She's still alive. The other one.
Sorry, Dionne. My bad.
Yes. But everyone's being a conspiracy theorist now. I understand we're all bored. We're at home. Hell, I've cleaned my kitchen about 4 times in the last 3 days. That's how bored I've been. But if you're going to message me or message other people with these crazy flat earth conspiracy theory, you're going to get an immunization and coronavirus chip in your hand and all this crazy stuff, like, girl, stop. Don't send that shit to me. If you're going to message me personally. Don't send crazy stuff in my inbox talking about, I just want you to be informed. Informed off of what? What type of foolishness is this? Some crazy Alex Jones, Tommy Lauren, flat earth ridiculousness. We don't, keep that to yourself. And I had to block one of my high school teachers for that. And I was like, you too? Like, Suzette, I'm telling you, coronavirus may be spreading, but stupidity is spreading at a faster rate than coronavirus is right now.
Well, it's kind of like I didn't know how racist the country was until Trump won, and I didn't know how stupid the country was until coronavirus became a thing.
Girl.
That's not to say that sometimes you see racist people and you're like, oh, they're stupid too.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, this is like
this
is more people that you didn't know were racist or homophobic, and they're just like, again, wearing the mask below the nose, and it's like, what? Why are you?
You gotta cover both holes, baby. Cover both holes.
Yeah, cover all the holes that go to your lungs. You don't have to cover your eye holes or your ear holes, but all the holes that go to your lungs, you have to cover those.
So did you want, we got a comment from Facebook, did you want the definition from online slang dictionary from Frank Dixon Graham, the
Yes.
online slang dictionary definition of circuit party.
Yes, thank you,
Oh,
Justin.
yes, please.
So, from the online slang dictionary, circuit party occurs on a specific weekend in a specific city once a year, and there are many parties on the circuit. Travel and planning are required. Traveling from party to party becomes a part of a circuit boy's lifestyle of travel, network, and partying.
Okay, so
Girl, that's that white gay stuff. I don't do that, but
well, I'm not a circuit boy because I'm a show
I
host
won't
girl.
even be allowed in the door, girl.
No, that's not the life
Which
for
is
me
fine
either.
by me, but But I just feel like everyone needs to calm down, stop spreading all these crazy things, find a TV show, watch 90 Day Fiance, watch something on TV, stop spreading stupidity. If worst comes to worst, there's always one thing that we all can do in the comfort of our own home. Go masturbate, go watch some porno, go do something. Like in May, I believe May might be National Masturbation Month. I might be making that up, but it does wonders for your brain. It makes you feel good. It releases endorphins. You forget about the crazy people on Facebook. You forget about spreading stupidity. You fall asleep right afterwards. It's natural.
Okay, well, I mean, that's good advice for the viewers. If you need something
Or have
to
a
do,
cocktail.
we just made
Something.
May
But just cut the
masturbation month.
foolishness.
Cut the bullshit, masturbate, and stop sending things to Clifton's inbox.
Unless it's money or nudes or both.
Money or nudes are okay. If you want to send things to my inbox, just money. I'm good on nudes. Oh man, am I good on nudes? Thank you, Clifton.
Wait, let me rephrase that because I might get some shit I don't want to see. Money will be best. Money.
Yeah, money.
Yeah.
Money's always good. You can buy good nudes with good money. Thank you for spilling the tea.
Thank you. Bye, Suzette.
Talk to you later. Love you. Bye. Okay. We're moving right along with the show today. Again, everyone's Venmo's on the bottom. If you can throw them some coin, throw them some coin. If you want to send money to inboxes directly, we've had requests for that too. So go for it. And don't forget about Stab, where we get to do the show. And with that, I'm going to bring on our first interview guest. She is amazing. If you can see her, if you're watching the show from the East Coast, you can see her. She's also performed on the West Coast, so in California. And then right now, good thing, you can catch her online, and we'll ask her where. Peers and Queers, Virginia Thicc.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Just sitting at home still.
Yeah. Have you been out much?
Just like to the corner store to get food, and that's it. I really haven't been further than a couple blocks, which is so weird.
I have to ask, you're in New York City. Where in New York are you?
We're in Manhattan, so lower Manhattan, the East Village.
Okay. So you're in
right
like
in the middle.
The pandemic like central of the outbreak. What's that like?
I don't have anything to compare it to, so for me this is just how the outbreak has been. It's pretty crazy. The city's been shut down. A few of the corner stores are open, but that's kind of it. So it's kind of like a weird, eerie ghost town out there.
That's so weird for New York City.
Yeah.
But
very.
Well, thank you for coming on. You look amazing. And
thank you.
I will tell the viewers that we have a little green room chat, and everybody is telling you look amazing. So thank you for showing up and showing out. How long have you been doing drag?
I've been doing drag for about 1.5 years.
Okay. That's
so
not very long. And you've gotten so like, and this is, I don't mean this as someone like who deserves to say this. I'm impressed. I'm like, wow, that's not a long time, and you're so good. How did you get so good so fast?
Thank you. I think that just has to do with being in New York. I mean, to me, it's the best of the best. And when I started doing drag here in New York, that's just, they set the bar that I just try to keep at or even raise, So you just kind of see what's out there, and makes you learn really fast.
So it was like a sink or swim thing. Like you had to match the level that you were next to.
Exactly. Yeah. Like you can go out any night of the week here and see a drag queen spitting fire, a drag queen singing live, a drag queen doing gymnastics, a drag queen doing a 2-hour stand-up set all by themselves. So like the drag queens here, they do everything. So you really have to hit the ground running if you want to stand out or get noticed.
Right on. So what did you think, like, oh, I'll get noticed for this? Like, how do you enter that scene?
I don't know. Well, I was always drawn towards like the looks, like the makeup aspect of drag. So just getting ready to go out my first time, that was kind of my main focus. I just wanted to look good and go out and have fun, and that was it. And then I've kind of carved that into being my niche out here, is being kind of a look queen and known for her makeup.
Oh, I've seen you perform in person, so you're not just a look queen, because you can perform, but you are also, like, if this was a video game and you have like a rating meter for looks, like you qualify as a look queen to me.
Thank you.
So how did you spend a lot of time practicing makeup before you went out for the first time?
When I decided I was going to do it and go out for the first time, I practiced hardcore the month leading up to that. So every day, or 3 times a week, I would practice doing my face at home for a month before going out, just to make sure I knew what I was doing. Yeah.
So for anyone watching who wants to start and they're thinking like, oh, that's a good idea, I should practice just like Virginia Thicc, what's one makeup tip you can give?
One makeup tip, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine too. It is just take your time. The makeup to me is the best part about drag. It's why I love doing it. So I enjoy putting on the makeup. And I think a lot of queens try to rush through that whole process and they don't really understand what they're doing or why they're doing it. So my advice, always just go slow, and everything you're adding to your face, just know why you're adding it and like the effect that it's going to have when you're done with the application.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, I'm not a look queen at all. But I would say my drag mom was really insistent on me understanding why I was applying what I was applying and taking my time. And so I like to give myself 2 or 3 hours. Sometimes, like today, I only had like 45 minutes because of dogs and stuff. But it's nice to have time and to really understand and to not feel rushed. So I mentioned my drag mom, and you are part of a pretty, should I say, illustrious drag house.
Yes, we have a pretty well-known drag house. Our drag mom, Madeline Hatter, which I'm sure most of you heard of, Dragula Season 3. They were contestants. That is my drag mom, and we're the House of Hatter, and there's 4 kids of us out here just wreaking havoc and having fun.
Who are the 4 kids? Let's just give them shout-outs.
It is me, Zavaleta, Stassi, and Blue.
Right on. And what has your experience been like having, because like I try to explain this to a lot of my comedian friends, like a drag mom, the roots of that are more like they're really heavy and serious from like what a mother was on the ball circuit in New York in like the 1970s and 80s. Nowadays, of course, it's not necessarily the same. It can be that the same and that heavy. But what is Madeline Hatter like meant to you? Like how has she been your drag mom, and how has that felt, and what has she imparted to you?
Yeah, I think for what makes our house a little bit different than a lot of the other houses is we kind of go that old school route. All the kids really look up to Madeline as a role model and then as a friend as well. And the experience that she has, teaching us to perform and to do makeup tricks and to sew is really great. But she's really fostered like a sense of drag business with us too. And we've kind of just become that really close, chosen family for each other.
I think that's really cool. And I have to say that I think the old school route is the way to go. Like my drag family, like that is my family. Like I love them and care about them, and I've learned so much. And a little bit different from, I've learned from my mom, and I learned from some of my aunts and stuff. So it's really cool that you have such a cool, and I don't mean anything having to do with like her credits or the fact that she's on Dragula, but like it's really cool that you have such a cool drag mom who cares about teaching you all the stuff that she knows. And then on top of that, it's really cool that she's on Dragula, and she can teach you a lot of that stuff too. Yeah, no, it's double cool. I mean, that her aesthetic. Being back in California before I moved to New York, I knew who she was, and I was always drawn to her aesthetic.
the way she balances kind of horror and glamour together. And then just once becoming friends with her, yeah, you really get that really strong bond of a house, and with your siblings too. It's really cool.
So when you started, did you know she was your drag mom, or did you start and then she became your drag mom? How did that, if you don't mind me asking?
No, she didn't want drag kids when I first met her. I met her my first night out in drag, and she gave me my drag name because I couldn't think of one. And one of the things she said that night was, "Don't ask me to be your drag mom, and I don't have drag kids." And me and my sister Zavaleta, we just became friends with her and would hang out with her all the time. And then we would just basically spend every night at her house learning from her. And then one night in her living room, she's like, "I'm just saying, if you need a drag mom, I guess I'll do it." And me and Zavaleta played it really cool. We're like, "Oh, okay, cool, yeah, we'll think about it." And then we left her house so excited, and we called her the next day. We're like, "Yeah, we want you to be our drag mom. We look up to you so much. You've taught us so much anyways." And the rest is history.
That's a really cool story. I'm so glad that you have such a good, tight-knit drag family, and you love it, and it's supportive.
Yeah.
You did mention that you moved to New York. So let me ask you, where did you live before?
I lived in the Bay Area. So I lived in San Francisco, and I grew up in the Bay Area, went to school there, LA, San Diego, and then came back. And then I moved to New York about 3 years ago.
And what did you decide, how do you decide to move? I mean, did you move to New York to become a performer? You obviously hadn't started drag 3 years ago. You just said a year and a half.
No, I just moved to New York for a complete change. I quit my job, and my partner got a job offer out here, and there was kind of nothing holding us back. So we just kind of took the leap and went for it. They lived out here before, so they kind of knew where they were going a little bit, and I had never been, and it's somewhere that I always wanted to live, and we kind of just ripped the Band-Aid off and did it, and here we are.
Nice. And you like it? Obviously.
I love it. Yeah.
Right on.
I love it. Best decision ever.
So when you lived, I want to go into your background a little bit. When you lived in California, you actually are you have a lot of marine mammal knowledge. What did you do to get that?
I worked at an aquarium.
Okay.
Yeah, so my college degree is actually in exotic animal training and management, and I also have a degree in wildlife education and wildlife conservation. So out of college and for the first years of my young adult life, I worked with animals at an aquarium right outside of San Francisco.
What's the aquarium called?
It was called Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. It's in Vallejo, so if you know the Bay Area, it's kind of the halfway spot between San Francisco and Sacramento.
Actually, I know a couple people that have worked with you. Of course, you know DJ Pocket.
Yes.
And you met him at Six Flags.
Yeah, we met there.
Yeah. And then also I know Miles Weber. I don't know if you knew him, but he also worked at Six Flags about that time, I think.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really, I didn't work there, but now I'm starting to find out all these people work there and work together.
Yeah.
You not only worked with marine mammals, which is great because you used your degree, and I don't know if my parents ever feel like I've used my degree, but you worked as a mer person in a bar in Sacramento?
Yes, yeah. So on the side, I also was a professional mermaid or merman at a bar in Sacramento called Dive Bar, and I was the first professional merman there at the bar. And now, since I've been gone, they have a couple more that work there too. So it's kind of really neat to be part of history, to be the first employed merman on the West Coast.
Yeah, no kidding. That should be if you have a Wikipedia page, that should go on it.
Right.
I'm curious, when you work as a merman, so do you hold your breath and you just swim around as long as you can, or?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So that bar, they're really specific about trying to be as realistic as you can. So there was no scuba tanks, no weights. You basically just hold your breath as long as you can underwater and stay under as long as you can for 20 minutes.
And how long can you hold your breath?
We're holding our breath on average 30 to 45 seconds. It seems like a lot longer than it actually is.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That is really... And you were wearing a tail, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we had custom-made silicone tails. Each tail weighed about 20 or 25 pounds, and they were custom-made for each mermaid or merman that worked there.
Do you still have your tail?
It still lives there, so somebody else uses it now.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I left that, I had to leave the tail behind.
That's too bad, because they
Yeah.
should have given you the tail. So you participated only a year and a half, but and we talked about you being a look queen. You participated in a New York drag contest called Look Queen. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so Look Queen is a very well-known competition out here. It was started by Bob the Drag Queen from RuPaul's Drag Race. And it is a monthly competition. There's a theme, and you're judged on your look, your performance. And was it look, performance, and runway? Like, you do a runway, and then you do your look for your performance. And a lot of really well-known queens in New York have gone through the Look Queen competition. Every winner from Look Queen has gone to be on the show, and a lot of the finalists have also been on the show. So it's kind of really well known. So when I started doing drag here, that was one of my goals, was to win one of the months of Look Queen and move on to the finale.
So if everyone on the Look Queen show goes to Drag Race, we can expect that we'll see you at some point on Drag Race.
That would be ideal if those two go hand in hand, but we'll see how that goes.
Right on. Is there anything that you, this is a weird question, but I'm curious. Is there anything that you got working with marine mammals or working as a merman that prepared you for drag?
Both are kind of crazy environments. Both are loud. So just being in loud groups, crowded bars, that kind of prepared it. But yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things, is to be able to walk into a crazy situation like a crowded aquarium or a crowded bar and just kind of be calm and do your job while all that craziness is going around. I think that would be an important skill.
Right on.
That I learned from my day jobs to my night jobs.
Sure. You've also traveled for drag.
Yes. Yeah.
So not just in New York, you've come and performed out here. That's kind of a big deal to get booked across the country. Tell me about that.
That was insane. It was so exciting. It was kind of one of the highlights of my career so far doing drag. Is I was performing out here on the East Coast, and then I know DJ Pocket from living out there, and gave me an amazing opportunity and brought me and my drag sister Zavaleta out there for a week and introduced us to a bunch of the other clubs and managers out there, and we just worked our asses off for 4 days. I think we did 5 or 6 shows in 4 days, and that's where I met you. Mm-hmm. And it was the most exhausting but most fun I've ever had doing drag, I think, in the year and a half that I've been doing it.
So if that was, because I'm right there with you, like that is a lot of shows in 3 or 4 days. Mm-hmm. What do you average? How many shows per week?
Right now I'm doing about 2 shows a week. If there was no Corona, no COVID, it would be 2 to 3 shows a week, depending on. I have a weekly show, and then I have a few monthly shows. So just kind of depending how those monthly shows come back around, will be if it's more than a couple times a week. So I do work a full-time job, so I try not to do drag more than 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, that's a good balance. Do you like to do it more than one time and like 2 shows in the same day? Because I know with comedians that I work with, when they talk about going to New York, they're like, I could do 3 or 4 shows in the same night. Is that something you can do with drag? Is that something you want to do with drag?
Yeah, no, that's something that I do already with drag. If I have a brunch show on Sunday, then I can do a brunch show and then go to another gig across the city and do a post-brunch party, and then have a late night Sunday show in Brooklyn. So there's been times where I've gone to 3 different parties in one day, and you just kind of bounce around across the city.
And you just keep the paint on the whole day?
Yeah, you literally just keep it on the whole day. Bring a carry-on suitcase with you and hope nobody touches your face.
Oh my God.
Through all 3 parties. Yeah.
People love to touch faces. Maybe not after COVID. Maybe that'll be a good side effect of COVID, is nobody will try to touch your face. What's the longest you've ever spent in drag?
Probably over like 12 hours, I would say. I think last year we had a photo shoot for a contest like at 10 in the morning, so I had to get up 8 in the morning, and then we were doing shows till 4 the next morning. So probably 18-20 hours in drag. 18 to 20,
that beats me.
Yeah.
16 is the longest I've ever gone. 18 to 20 hours is so long. Go ahead.
I would say, no, it's a very long time. Like DragCon weekend was also just drag morning to night. You wash it off go to bed, wake up, and you do it all over again.
Yeah, I try not to do 2 shows like back-to-back days. I'd rather do just like 2 or 3 shows in a day than back-to-back days. That's just me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, so I heard about Liberty and Bella. I wanted to ask you about them.
Yeah. Those are just 2 of the dolphins that I worked with back at home. Liberty was born on the 4th of July, how he got his name, and Bella was one of the dolphins that were born right when I started working at Six Flags.
Right on. Do you have a tighter connection to dolphins that are born while you're working? Because you've known them their whole life.
Yeah, you kind of have that little special connection when you kind of see a baby animal being born, you know. You feel like you've been there since the beginning of their life. So there's always that little extra special connection that at least we feel with them, and we hope that they feel it back. But the dolphins all have different personalities. So you kind of bond with the dolphin whose personality best matches yours. And those 2 dolphins' personalities and mine just meshed really well.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Are you ready for rapid fire questions? Is there anything else that you'd like to talk
Let's do
about
it.
before I go with that? Or
No, I think we're good.
okay, cool. Rapid fire questions. What do
All
you
right.
like about the concept of brunch?
Concept of brunch.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's always a great idea to go to. It's never fun leaving.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, I scrolled away like an idiot. Is there a drag name that you ended up not using?
Okay, so my original name was Virgie, which was short for Virginia, and I thought that was a cool way to shorten Virginia. So it was Virgie. That was almost my real name.
Just Virgie, no last name?
Just Virgie. That was it. One name. That's it.
I kind of dig that. I mean, I like both. I like what you ended with, and I
It's
like.
so bad.
What is your favorite wig color?
My favorite wig color is gray, like a really, really ashy gray.
Really? Okay. Like all over, or like?
All over. Yeah, solid gray, just like a dusty, dusty wig.
Okay. Do you name your wigs?
I don't name them. No, I get too attached then.
And sometimes you just got to throw them away.
Yeah, exactly.
When you put on a bra, do you clasp it in front and spin it around, or do you put it on and clasp it in back?
Of course. I have one of each, so it depends if I'm wearing my black bra or white bra.
So, one you clasp in front and one you clasp in back?
Exactly, yeah.
Really? Are they the same? Is there a reason
Just
that?
different colors. I don't know. I just bought one at one store, one at another store, and I didn't realize it till I got it home that it clasped in the front.
Oh no! I mean when you put it on. So the one that clasps in the back. Do you?
Like one literally clasps between the bra straps, and the other one clasps in the back, and you have to spin it.
I see. Okay, so you are a spinner.
Yeah.
I just like asking all the queens and all the women comics I have, like if they're spinners or if they're like reach behind and clasp.
Super flexible.
Oh my god! How do your
21 and bendy. Yes.
20? Yeah, no kidding. How high is too high for high heels?
Never high enough.
Really?
The higher the better. Yeah. Walking is not functional. As long as you can stand there and look pretty, I'm all down for it.
What's the highest you've ever worn?
I think my highest are 9 inches.
9 inches.
Like a good set of shipper pleasers. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just for standing, just walking in and standing there.
I have some 7s, and I don't even like really walking in those. I get nervous, but they look great if I'm just standing still. What is your favorite show to perform in?
My favorite show, it'd have to be our monthly competition that we have every month in Brooklyn called Bitch Fest. It's just, we wanted to create a space for drag performers to perform that wasn't there already. New York can be very cliquey, and different areas of New York can showcase different types of drag. And then we wanted to give everyone who doesn't fit into one of those cliques an opportunity to perform and kind of showcase the new talent that's on the scene. So we host a drag competition every month called Bitch Fest. That is my favorite to perform at. Just the energy there it's insane. It's packed. It's on a Thursday night. So people are just packing this bar on a Thursday night just to have fun and see the new talent. So like the energy is just insane.
That's really cool. And right now you're doing, am I right? You're doing Bitch Fest online?
Yeah, we're doing it digitally. So we did last month digitally, and we're going to try to do it again this month to have a nice little turnout to do it online.
Yeah, so if anyone watching right now wants to tune into that. You can catch Bitch
Slide in my
Fest.
DMs. Yes.
Yeah, hit the DMs. What's your favorite venue to perform in?
Ooh, my favorite venue, that would be Rosemont, which is where we have Bitch Fest. It is in Brooklyn, and you get that really good locals vibe where all your friends are there, so you can go anytime and you'll know somebody there. And it's also the first place that I performed in drag where I just felt really comfortable, where I walked off stage and was like, I did that. I feel good about what I did. So it has that little special place in my heart too.
So it's kind of like your home venue.
Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah.
Right on. I have friends that live in Brooklyn, so I'll have to make it out and actually catch these shows in person.
I'm sure they've heard of it.
Oh, I'm sure they have. I just want to visit now and watch the shows in person. What is your favorite song to perform to?
Oh, anything Dua Lipa right now.
Yeah.
Anything she puts out, I'm pretty much gonna perform.
She has some good songs.
Yes.
What's the funniest thing an audience member has ever said to you after a performance?
Ever? Funny? Okay.
Or strangest, however you want to answer.
Let's see. Depending on where I work on certain nights, like the funniest thing is there's always some guy out there that's trying to pick you up and is like trying to convince you that you're the prettiest girl in the world. And I'm like, no, if you think that I'm a woman, then you are way too drunk to be trying to pick me up. So
do you trust it when
those are always the crazy ones.
When they buy you drinks, are you okay with that?
Yeah, well, I know the bartender, so you can usually watch the bartender pour them, or the bartender will hand it to me. So yeah.
Yeah, good choice. Do you cook or bake?
Oh, neither. I hate cooking.
Okay.
I hate cooking.
If we're at the bar and someone's buying us shots, what are we drinking?
Tequila.
Well, especially any kind or just any tequila?
Patron, if it's Patron.
Patron. If someone's buying us drinks, what are we drinking?
Oh, tequila pineapple.
Yeah. Toilet paper, are you hang over or hang under?
Over.
Yes,
over is the
thank
only
you.
way to go.
No one on my show yet has said under, and that's because those people I wouldn't book. Those people I don't want to talk to
wrong,
those people.
because it's wrong.
Right, it's terrible. Favorite drag queen?
Ooh, my favorite drag queen. It would have to be Raven from season 2 of Drag Race.
Good choice. Favorite drag king?
Favorite drag king. It would be Landon Sider from Dragula, or a drag king called Androgen, and they kind of do this really tie-dye, devilly art drag. So, and I think they identify as a drag king or drag performer at least.
Yeah, some performers are a little more fluid, but if anyone wants to check those out, if they like you, they might like them. If you were a Disney princess, which princess would you be?
I think I'd be Little Mermaid, hands down.
And if I was a Disney princess, which princess would I be?
Elsa, because you have the blonde hair.
Oh, I like that answer. And lastly, when all this is over and the quarantine is lifted and we can go back out in public and you're not, stuck in an apartment or a corner store, what are you looking forward to?
I just want to go out and, as stupid as it sounds, I just want to go out and dance. Like, I just want to see my friends, listen to music, have a drink, and just dance and have fun.
I don't think that sounds stupid at all. I think a lot of people
Simple.
are right there with you. Like, just the simple, fun things in life, just ready to get back to them. Good answer.
Yeah.
Virginia, that's all I have. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Joining us from the East Coast, and people can look you up. Yes. Your information's on the bottom of the screen. And
yes.
You're gorgeous and
wherever
stunning, and they should catch you in person when all this is over.
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, thank you so much, and love you, and hopefully talk to you soon.
Yeah, talk to you soon.
Right.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Peers and Queers, that was Virginia Thicc. And you can catch her online in all the places that we talked about. And you should, because she is amazing, and her performances are as amazing as her looks. And with that, we're just going to roll into our next interview. And I just want to say that this interview is normally this comic is normally a contributor on the show, but I thought it'd be nice if we interviewed and got to know this comic a little bit better and hang out with him a little bit longer. As always, a great social media follow, and you can find him in real life when all this is over. In shows, he's a great comic. He is lots of people's favorite comic in Northern California and even across the country. Yeah, so let's welcome to the show Mean Dave.
Hey,
how are you?
good, Suzette. How you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you for asking. You were in a show earlier tonight. How was that?
It was good. I was in two. We ran our another terrible podcast by Comics in Isolation show. We do every Sunday at 6 o'clock from 6 to 7. And then I was doing Rhoda Ramon, comic from the Valley. She just started doing her very first show called Good Spiel Hunting, which was a fun show, like where comics, or not even just comics, but people talk about. They do a bit about something they're passionate about. So I talked about recovery tonight. So
right on. I was gonna ask you about recovery, but really quick before we get there, I've had a couple people ask me, and I know you get this question all the time, and I've heard the story before, but our viewers haven't. And one of my viewers was like, "Oh, you had Angry Mike," and I was like, "Who's Angry Mike?" And they were like, "The guy, Angry Mike," and I was like, "Oh, Mean Dave." Can you tell everyone what Mean Dave stands for, or what it's short for?
Mean Dave's just a nickname. It's short for Meaningful David. That's the joke of that. So, but I've heard Angry Mike. I'll get Mean Dan or Mean Mike or Angry Dan. That's another one.
Angry Dan.
People. It's fun to hear all the different combinations.
Yeah, that happens with there's a drag queen in Sacramento, Rosalia Valentine. I'm not sure if you remember her. She was on the show, and her name gets butchered by everybody. And it's at some point it becomes kind of fun to collect the butchered versions and just reference them and have friends call her that. And so you mentioned recovery. Why is recovery important to you?
It's not really. No, I'm kidding. It's important to me because if it's not, I'll end up. It's as they say, a slippery slope. I end up smoking weed, and with weed, I'll drink beer up the ante, do cocaine, and then then I'll mix it up with some acid, and who knows, maybe try some shit I haven't tried yet, but I mean, for the most part, I always felt I was a recreational drug user, and not like anybody, or, just like everybody else. But it was as anybody who has, finds they have the disease of addiction or alcoholism, it's a lot of trial and error. And it's usually the errors that we're in denial of. And I, for the most part, I was a functional addict working at a job testing video games for several years while playing in bands. I played in a lot of music bands for years, and I loved it. And for the most part, it didn't seem like a problem because I was just like anybody else. That we all, everybody's smoking weed and drinking or something at the time. And I really enjoyed psychedelics a lot whenever I could find those, but I think it really was just starting. It became more apparent. I got my first DUI. I was arrested at the end of 2005 and then convicted in the beginning of 2006. And that year, there was a lot of behavior that I think was definitely indicative of a storm on the horizon of the disease of addiction. Because once I got introduced more to cocaine, for the most part, I know people who are functional cokeheads and even functional, I would dare say functional, but people who are addicted to meth, who even don't, they're weird, but they somehow make it work for them. But there's always a level of unmanageability in those lifestyles And for the most part, I thought I was able to balance them. And you kind of realize that, or you're in denial when you're out of money, you're out of options, and you're arrested again, which I was in 2013, which for a second DUI, and that was the one that really just kind of, there was a lot of incidents where I could have been arrested worse or even hurt somebody, and so that's why I always say it was the best case scenario over worst case scenario, and I just had to get serious about the fact that I had a problem. I knew I had a problem. I kept tiptoeing around it. I always just thought I could, as they say, I kept trying to negotiate with my disease, but then just that second DUI, when you're dealing with the law and you're feeling really stupid, and you just it's just there's no excuse for it, and just sitting with that stupidity feeling for a good 48 hours before I had to explain to my folks that I really hope they don't kick me out right away, because now I've made things worse and I really need their help. And but the thing was I was getting their help for 3 years, and I wasn't taking active steps towards really the source of my problem, because I was still in denial of the fact that I had a drug and alcohol problem. And when you're in denial of it, you kind of, things get worse. And it's hard to keep coming up with excuses and all that stuff. And I believed everything I thought I was, as far as what I was trying to do. And for the most part, the things that I was working towards did work out as well. But it was just the fact that I had this big part of my life that kept eating away at my credibility, at my character, at my finances, all of that. And so once I got in recovery and put that as the first priority of my life, regardless of what happened anywhere else, things just fell into play. And that's not easy to come by. So I mean, anybody who, I know a lot of people who've asked me, like, hey Dave, I'm thinking about going into recovery, but I don't know whether or not, and I'm like, you ain't there yet. Because fact being, it's like, and I don't want to tell them that, but I try to let them know, it's like, look, it's I hate to tell you, it's all or nothing. You really got to you have to, if you don't have the gift of desperation, as they say, you're probably not ready to really fully surrender, because it's, unless the law is steering you there, like the law sometimes will make you have to sign a court card. You'll still be like, fuck this, I'm not there. But then you start going to meetings and you start hearing your story in other people's words. And then you're kind of like, oh, I am one of these people, but might still have some more experimenting to do, and eventually you'll find yourself back there.
So if somebody thinks they're ready, I get you just answered it, but I want to clarify. If somebody thinks they're ready and they think they should go, like if they're not desperate yet, should they start going? I don't want to. I'm not going to discourage anybody from going. If you're, in fact, there's people. I never discourage anybody. If you're even just like wondering, go. I mean, go check out something, because you couldn't hurt. There was for years there, I was definitely addicted to shit, and I remember thinking like maybe I should go check out one of these meetings. And I don't know, even if I would have gone, if it would have sunk its hooks into me yet, because. That's what I just know now, because I think just from talking to other people who've also who've experienced relapses after getting time in recovery, and I know I have several friends. We have mutual friends actually that still struggle with that from time to time, and I think the thing about it was I experienced so many levels of disappointment with relapse trying to stop on my own. And I convinced myself that nothing else worked. I mean, not convinced myself. I proved to myself that, like, this isn't working I can't stop on my own. I need help. And then once I started on this long road, that from the moment I walked into a meeting and started listening and doing what they suggested, little by little things got better and easier, and even when I had when problems came my way, I was able to sooner get into the solution and simplify things and just kind of
focus on what the next right thing was to do for myself and my recovery. So,
but that's all. I mean, recovery is a constant process, so you're still in it.
Yeah.
But kind of the desperation and maybe, should we say, the rock bottom is behind you?
They call it a rock. The thing about it is it can be, as far as the rock bottom, it's like, really, it's, it doesn't even have to necessarily, you just got to, stop digging. You can always dig deeper, I feel. But yeah, it's a feeling of bottom, or there's all kinds of different cool sayings that I'm forgetting them all, but yeah, essentially that's what it is. That's what the common cliche is you hit your rock bottom. But as I've learned, I could have definitely gone further and just would have created more problems for myself and everybody else. It's just a matter of everybody's different how they find it, and yeah. So, but as far as like what I've experienced, that second time being in the, I've been arrested a couple times, like a few times, but just this being the second DUI, it was just so dumb that year. There were blackouts I woke up from in my car, not knowing how I got where I was and things like that. And a few other incidents. So it was just sort of like, what the fuck am I doing? And I could have hurt somebody. It's not just myself. It's like, I actually lost a friend in 2017. She was a passenger in a car that was driven by her friend who was drunk driving, and who had two other DUIs as well. And somehow she was still driving, and she rolled her car, killed two passengers in the car. One was an underage 16-year-old girl, and my friend who was 25, I believe. And and that was her friend, and her friend lived, and she's now facing murder sentences in prison as a result of all this. And all I thought about, it crushed me to lose my friend and all that. But at the same time, I could not help but feel empathy for this person, knowing full well that this was somebody in their disease. Actually, my friend used to talk to me about this driver, and I think one other friend, and her ex-boyfriend, who was addicted to heroin. She was surrounded by addicts. She wasn't an addict herself, but she would talk to me about, because I think she had like codependency issues with people, and she was young, and she was very innocent and like just a sweetheart of a gal, and gorgeous too. That was the other thing. It was weird to see this young girl just have, like, because she was kind of a geeky girl growing up, and then she turned into this woman that like looked, not to be disrespectful, but she looked like a porn star. She didn't dress like one, but just she had a body of like somebody, and you just see men gawk at her and all that. And I'm like, oh God, this poor girl. And she just made some bad choices, just some unlucky choices that anybody could have made. Getting into a car that a friend's driving because you didn't want to drive, and she just didn't call an Uber or whatever. She was just trying to take an easy ride home, and ends up costing her life.
Yeah, so. Uber and Lyft have kind of changed. There were never excuses, but now there really aren't excuses for drive. If you've had a couple drinks, it's so easy to Uber. It's so easy to Lyft.
It's funny, and still yet people, it's the pride and ego thing. And it's strange when it gets to this point where, I've watched it happen in other people, even today. There's a friend of mine who, I think he still got a DUI, but he thanked me for bringing it up another time, because he reached a point in his life where some success was coming his way, and I just watched him drinking way too much, and I just said it, and I wasn't. The thing about it too is these are friends of mine who I know them well enough to know it's like, I don't think you have a problem, but you're definitely amping it up a little bit, and I just want to let you know, like, you're on the path to being me, and I don't want to see you have to ruin your good times, just kind of rein yourself in. So
one way that you've kind of changed since those days is you don't drive.
Not at all. No, I love it. It was kind of a strange conclusion, and this was something more for me than, I never wanted to drive since I was a kid. It's always been one of those responsibilities. I was like, do I have to drive? I don't want to. I hate these machines. They're just death machines, and they also just add on to the ultra busyness of everything. And what's funny is, you know, I see the vast difference in my life, the way that I operate now versus the way that which was the way that I kind of was embracing my life then. The whole reason I got my first car and my license in general is because my mom wanted me to pick up my sister, who decided to go to a high school that was in another city nearby. And I'm like, she wants to go, let her take the fucking bus, you know, take the BART. Why do I gotta pick her up? And they basically kind of said, no, you got to do this because, you know, it's an adult responsibility and it's high time, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, fine, I'll do it. And so I end up doing the, getting the license, getting a car. And throughout that year, the thing about it is, as I look back on my life with a vehicle, a lot of my experiences that were bad with the law and drugs and alcohol surrounded a vehicle. It all related to this fucking vehicle. And so, you know, after my first DUI, that seemed pretty manageable because I was still working in an industry where I could get paid all right. Still had money saved and dealt with the consequences and all that. But this second DUI came at a point when I was just drowning in quicksand of my bad decisions because in 2010 I moved back to my parents' house because I put myself in a financial hole, mainly because I spent the whole year living off my savings, drinking and doing drugs. And then when it got time to be serious after I got fired from a job, when I applied for unemployment, I said I was laid off, and they contested that. When I didn't realize that, because even though I was discharged, I could still collect unemployment. I didn't know that. And so I ended up arguing it. And then that argument ended up costing me the ability to I basically, if I would have stayed in my apartment, I would have ran through the rest of my savings. So I just said, fuck it, I'll see about going to stay at my parents. I did it before for like a month. And I was like, I'll just be there for a few months until I get myself back on my feet again. When I moved back in there, I ended up getting all the money from unemployment from that time after I won my case. So I could have stayed in my apartment but I think this end would have eventually came either way. I would have still been fucked because basically I moved back to my folks' house, and that's when I also started doing stand-up right at the same time.
And what year was that?
And so it just created this compounding stresses of like just starting to do something new while also trying to get my shit together, being at my folks' house and feeling the humility of that. And I didn't want to do these jobs anymore. I was working in video game and web testing. I hated those jobs. I fucking hated them. And I resented myself for the fact that I put myself in this position where I had to rely on those jobs. And so I really just felt like I was stuck. And when you're feeling like that and you're an addict, you're just going to keep trying to take your mind off it, try to postpone the inevitable. And then I even had friends who was partying with me who were like, yeah, Dave, I think you got a problem. Like they're ratting on you to your family and shit. And I'm like, these are guys that wouldn't do that. And I'm putting them in a position where they're worried about me and stuff like that. So it was real. And even though I was staying at my folks' house, I wasn't there a lot. I would be crashing at my friends' places, staying over, sleeping in my car, shit like that all the time, which then just made my family worried. So when I got the second DUI, and I was just kind of like, I just put recovery first, and then was like, look, I'm going to try and figure out how I'm going to do this. And I ended up realizing like, hey, I never wanted a license. Maybe this is a good opportunity to try and live my life however it goes without a license. And so it was the perfect thing because my biggest problem was asking for help. When I had a car, I would be completely self-reliant. You know, I'm in my car. I can take care of myself. I can be by myself. I can, isolate. Without a car, you need public transportation. You need people to give you rides, or you got to walk. Walking, I did a lot of walking that first year, man. I walked, I don't know how many miles I've walked, and I still do when I do today. But today it's different where I can ask for help and ask for a ride. I can take public transportation and plan ahead and give myself time to get places and love it. And even with the COVID shit, I ain't afraid of public transportation. I'll go right back on it as soon as I got to get somewhere and it's functional and all that. So
yeah, I mean, it's just making good choices with COVID. Like, you know, don't lick the railings. You know, at
I
the
never
BART
did,
station.
and I mean that's what I'm saying. I'm like, really, it's like this shit's amateur hour as far as I'm concerned. Like, oh god, I might catch a fucking hacking cough for 2 weeks, and I might be able to die. Are you kidding me? That's a jackpot. That means I wouldn't have to be here anymore, and I have the perfect excuse. It's not suicide when it's a disease. So, I'm getting dark there. I don't know. Sorry.
No, but I mean, you are a comic, and it's okay to be dark with comedy.
Yeah, fucking right, Suzette.
It's part of the reason I enjoy following you, because you say a lot of things that other people might not want to say, but they agree with, and that takes a certain braveness. That's
my bread and butter. Because I'm not very clever these days. I used to be more clever when I was younger, but oddly enough, in recovery, when you let go a lot easier, when you just let shit go a lot all the time and you practice that, you don't retain defensive information, which is really where a lot of my clever humor came from. But now, more or less, a lot of my comedy stems from my aloofness and saying things that I really feel, but might not be the appropriate thing to say, might be the thing that people are thinking but wouldn't want to say, or really just flat out things you shouldn't say. And so that's kind of been like just finding what are the appropriate punchlines that I can use with that, where I'm not just throwing myself under the bus while doing it. So
I don't know if it's, I think I have this conversation a lot with people, and I don't know if it's a comic's job or a drag queen's job, since, you know, I'm in both worlds, for the performer to be the paragon of appropriateness. You know, I think sometimes it's that person's job, the comic or the drag queen, to kind of stand on the line and say, look at me pushing the boundary. Sometimes that's more important than being appropriate, in my mind.
Fundamentally, I think it depends. The funny thing about it is, because I grew up in a time when that was totally embraced. The trouble is now, when you have a glutton of people that want to do it, that then use that as they hide behind that principle as an excuse to say whatever the fuck they want, however insensitive it may be, and then say, oh, it's comedy. And that's where I get it's a cop out if there's no thought behind it, if there's no perspective behind it, if there's no wit behind it, if there, you know, if there's really no heart in whatever it is you're saying. And that's where I have a fundamental. And then the funny thing is people today can't tell the difference, because we have so much bullshit out there. And then the thing about it is, you know, God forbid you're being yourself, because then you're going to get attacked by all. I can't stand the uber self-awareness, all of this meta thought of just self-awareness, where it's like you can't just be yourself, because God forbid then you got all these people dissecting your personality, trying to fit you into some archetype of whatever, and that's fine. I you know, for the people that want, that's marketing thinking. And I don't know when the creative and the talent, which really isn't that talented, when really you got people that are just trying to be their own advertising agency for themselves. I always feel like these people today that are trying to do entertainment, they got this knack for, they try to sound like they're running for the mayor of themselves. They're trying to lobby for because they want to tell jokes, but then they also want to appear like they're some beacon of righteousness, or like right now with the trend with the COVID shit, there's a couple comics that I follow that, and I don't talk shit to them, but I read their shit, and they're just constantly, they keep having they make these posts that sound like they're giving press conferences of like, all right, people who don't understand about the masks and and really it's just this shit where I'm like, look, if I get it, if you want to sound like you want to feel like you're talking to us peons that can't think for ourselves or anything like that. And granted, yes, there's obviously the vastly different, these extremes of like, there's people that everybody's got to wear the mask, and there's people like, well, fuck the mask, man, we got freedom, and and really, I could care less either way. I wear the mask because people right now freak the fuck out if you don't, and I'd rather not have them in my face. But quite frankly, I'm all for disease, and I'm all for a pandemic being at its worst, and I'm willing to take it. I'm really not that scared of all that shit. I've had pneumonia and yada yada, and not to compare it. I've heard it's awful. I have friends that have had the shit, and yeah, I don't want it, but also I'm like, well, it's still gonna be out there, and I'm not that afraid of it. But that's me, and I can't speak for everybody else. And this is a chicken shit world we live in right now. So I'm all for protecting everybody else, and I'm not trying to call out people chicken shit for being mindful of that. It's just how different. I'm obsessive about other things.
Right. Well, I think you just don't want to live your life in fear, is what it sounds like to me.
That's really, and the thing is, and I'm not patting myself on the back for this, but really the mask is more of a symbol of I respect others. That's really what and that's what I think the mask is. They're turning it into this political thing of what it represents more than really what it's doing. Because I honestly, in the world that we live in, I've seen motherfuckers with their masks out there, and the way that they're handling them and I'm like, it ain't helping nothing. It's really just for it's a psychosomatic kind of thing. If we lived in a culture that was a little more self-aware and had cultural self-respect, maybe I would think it would make that much of a difference. But I honestly, it makes some difference. Don't get me wrong, it does make some difference. But I also I'm of the mindset of like, look, either everybody get on board, or let's just fucking say fuck it and just let the chips fall where they may. And people, I get why people don't want to do that. But I'll be damned though if a career comedian is going to go out there and act like they're a fucking doctor, and just because, guess what, they read a lot of they read a lot of articles, and they try to sift out which ones are the better ones or whatever. I'm like, you had your chance to be a fucking expert. You're not an expert. You tell jokes, and I'm not saying either like, oh, stick to your fucking jokes. No, put it in your jokes, put it in your act. But if you want to fucking talk intelligently about any of this shit, don't do it on social media like you're some fucking politician trying to speak to the fucking these masses or whatever. It's just social media. It's such a mind fuck of like, it's not real. It's just not real.
It becomes an echo chamber, really.
Yeah, it's the hive mind, and I get caught up in it too. But I try to have fun with it and satirize it and laugh at myself and be the butt of my own fucking bullshit with it. But,
well, I mean, that's part of the reason I like following you, because it is so fresh compared to some of the stuff that I see from a lot of people.
Thanks.
So thank you for that. And I wanna clarify on something else you said. There is a huge difference between being a comedian and pushing boundaries and limits, and kind of what I've seen from a lot of open micers, where they come and they just say like outrageous, like racist
just
or homophobic things.
Just say abusive.
Yeah, just
things.
abusive, just
Yeah.
abusing the privilege of being able to talk in front of people, almost like internet trolls in real life. Which is
totally
not comedy or pushing boundaries. That's just being an asshole.
It makes it creates this whole, I mean, because then the term edgelord came out for a while, and I mean, nothing really just irritates me more than when I see people dismiss anything, like this, oh, how edgy. And I get it. Like, there's times where, yes, when you see something trying to be edgy, but then there's people that I know who have been at the forefront of forward thinking and boundary pushing, and they're not doing it arbitrarily and deliberately to just be edgy. They're doing it because they're creative thinkers, and they don't think like everybody else, and that's one of the reasons especially if they're a trusted voice. In my mind, there was a joke I saw by Dave Foley from one of the Kids in the Hall, and I never was really that much of a Kids in the Hall fan. My closest friends were, but I love Dave Foley. Like I followed him onto news radio and then Celebrity Poker and some of his stand-up, even when he did stand-up. And I just love the guy. He's just, his personality and his life has just been very interesting to me. And I follow him on Twitter, and he made this joke that was clearly a joke, making fun of racist white folks. And watch people try to pull some bullshit guilt tripping on him that were, Dave, I love you, Dave, but this one, gotta say no, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, God damn it, this guy's like, if you can't see past yourself and trust Dave fully to have enough sense that he's making a joke about racist white people, and just because you saw the words blackface and couldn't understand that it was a joke about that like now you gotta, like, how dare you shame Dave Foley? Like, you say you love him, and then you don't even trust his creativity and like his sense of, like, then you haven't really been paying that close attention. And then I tweeted back and said, yeah, you really got to dumb it down for all these online activists that just got to sit here and pick apart this shit, as opposed to, like, why don't you get together a rally and go rally in fucking Georgia over that kid that got killed for jogging? Why don't you do some real activism instead of this bullshit? And he liked it. And guess what? I'm just as much a part of the problem, because that made my fucking day. Dave Foley liked my tweet reply. So then I slept soundly that night.
Well, I think you made some really important points, and that's something we do. Like, when you like something and you have a fan, you kind of clap it like that. So that's why I did that. Because there are a lot of social justice warriors, and they do like to say things and kind of be, like, at the forefront of, like, this is what we need. Like, people, I don't know, I meet a lot of people, and this has never happened to me, but, like, they give, I've read jokes about it where they're like, I just discovered that slavery was a thing, and now everyone should know what I know, that slavery was, and it's like, wait, I knew that. You just found that out. That's good for you, but you don't need to tell everybody now. You need to figure out what you're going to do next, but that shouldn't be assuming that everybody has the same educational background that you have, where you didn't know slavery was a thing until just now. So I thank you again for, if you really...
I just don't like bullshit. I have a low tolerance for not just bullshit, but stupid bullshit. Like,
stupid bullshit.
I'm not I don't pretend to be somebody that there was a time when I was smart, but that time passed. Now it's just more like, we gotta live together in this stupid world, and I think a lot of things are stupid in general, but for the most part, just I that's what recovery helps me with, in terms of I embrace my optimism, try to work productively with others on a positive level, try to find common ground. That's something that I think a lot of the rhetoric and the abundance of media, just a media obsessed culture, we're so caught up with each other on these fucking devices that then we lose sight of just mere communication. The whole thing of, like, people say things to each other online they would never say to each other's face. And it's just annoying just to see how and smart people too. Like, I had a smart person get upset with me today over an O.J. Simpson joke I made, over the fact that O.J. Simpson, like they were mad at me for making an O.J. Simpson joke. I haven't made an O.J. Simpson joke in years. All right, I barely even probably made an O.J. Simpson joke before. And all that happened was the Juice today tweeted a video where he's talking about Vegas reopening and how, like, hey, and I went to a restaurant, and it's important we do the social distancing, kind of make sure that everything's on, like we want to make sure that we keep our distances and and so I'm cracking up watching. I'm like, this is O.J. Simpson talking about kid saving lives. and regardless, and I'm actually of the mindset, I'm of the minority that believes he didn't do it, but he knows who did. Like, that's why he's always so suspicious. Like, because that crime is, I don't even want to get into all that shit. But I still will make a joke at his expense of being an accused and convicted in the public mindset that he's this killer.
Well, I mean,
got away with it.
The total obliviousness that he has.
It's good for comedic purposes. And so all I did was say that I just made a joke that O.J. Simpson made a video talking about the importance of social distancing and saving lives, and I'll take his word over any doctor, because he knows from experience the importance of social distancing, because if a few people would have just stayed at least 6 feet away from him, they might be alive today. And that's you know, I think everybody got that joke. And but yeah, some guy was trying to make, like, a guy who knows me pretty well and he likes my humor for the most part, and he put some long paragraphs of whatever, like all these other, you know, white killers or whatever that I could easily have made a joke about. I'm like, yeah, but they didn't make a video today stressing the importance of social distancing. If they did, they would have gotten the same fucking treatment, man. I've made fun of white killers, of any fucking killer. It's not because OJ Simpson's a black man. But I get, you know, people want to make things about themselves, and you know, obviously race issues they're a hot topic these days, because the police are killing black dudes like hotcakes, you know, and it's not cool. But I'd like to say, if you really want to do something about it, do something in the real world. Don't, you know, you can police jokes all you want and try to shoot those, but people are still going to keep making them, bad ones at that too. And I think it's more important to just be mentally aware of your actual 360 degrees around you, more than the phone that's distracting you from something, and a car might hit you and kill you. So, you know.
It's a fair point. I'm going to ask this of you. I'm hearing. You can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I want to ask you rapid fire questions now, but sometime I want to bring you back, because there were some questions that we didn't get to. But I want to keep the show. I've had some of the internet people say, "Oh, it's fun, but it's a little too long." So
yeah, we're running long. I give long answers. Sorry, internet people.
That's okay. I love long answers, and I mean, you know me, and everyone that knows me is like, it's amazing you don't talk longer, because I could talk for 9 hours. So I'll just say we'll table the rest of it, because I have some other questions I want to talk to you about. Are you ready for some viewer questions and rapid fire questions?
Yeah, I'm right.
All right, cool. This is from Heidi in Benicia. Who is your secret crush?
Secret crush? Is it like a celebrity?
I'm not sure. That's what the question says, so you can answer it however you
want. I don't really have like so much a secret crush. I got crush. If you follow me on Instagram, or if you look at my Instagram profile, you will see I follow a number of what they call thirst traps on Instagram, and probably a good third of them I have a crush on. I have a crush on a handful of personalities, some females that do comedy, but they're also my friends, so I keep that at bay. But it's so as far as like, I don't have a secret crush. I'll say that. I've been crushed out. My last few crushes, my last crush I went out with, and that went, you know, it was the first crush that was reciprocated. I actually thought I was in love. That was awful. And so these days I'm kind of like, you know what, I could do without the crushes. I'll just, a good strong like is good. So
good answer. Yeah. All right, to rapid fire questions, and we have some new ones, and then some tried and true. What is your favorite BART station?
My favorite BART station? Excellent question. I'll say my favorite one has got to be Fremont BART. It's my home. It's the easiest to sneak on if I had to, but I haven't been. They also are just I don't know. I like the staff there.
Right on.
You know, BART people get a bad rap, and I know that you know, it's not an easy job and all that, but they've always been pretty cool over there. So.
Okay. This I had this question written before your last answer from the viewer. So I'm just going to go ahead and answer it, or ask it anyway, and you can pass if you want. If money and time and COVID weren't a factor, where would you take your secret crush for an unforgettable first date?
The movies. I just love the movie. I like going to the movies. I'm not really. I've done the whole trying to put thought into the fucking date, and it goes over somebody's head. They don't, you know. It's rarely the. You know, again, I'm 43, and I've done. If I were to have found the hook into the romance thing, it would have happened by now. I had plenty of chances and thought that things would and that shit just didn't happen. And so now it's kind of like, if you just don't enjoy simple, then yeah, I'm not your dream date. So we're going to the fucking movies. We might go get some Panda Express if you're lucky.
What
So,
like a comedy, an action, a drama? What kind of movie?
yeah, whatever movie's out that just looks good. And I mean, I'm not a monster. I'd let her pick. I'll go see any movie that that she wants to. You know, it was so cool. I did have a crush on this one girl. She knew it too, but it wasn't like she knew she wasn't into me, and this happened before, but she was still an awesome friend. And but this was one of the things that kind of pissed me off that she would do. She would keep doing things that kind of would like give me a hint like there was a chance. And she lived in San Francisco, I think, at the time, and she came all the way to where I live to go see Thor Ragnarok with me, just because she said she owed me one when I went to some movie with her. And I was like, you don't owe me shit, and you don't like Marvel movies. Why would you want to go to this? Like, I'd rather go see it myself, so I know that I'm enjoying myself and I'm not with somebody that I can't tell what if there's a chance or not. And I ended up going, and the thing was I realized, this is a friend zone. And I was so pissed off because the one we went to, we went to this one theater and it had subtitles. I don't mind watching subtitles when it's at home with the movie. Like, I put them on so I can keep track while I'm doing it. But in the movie theater, I don't want to see no fucking subtitles. I'm not, that's for the deaf. That's great. But this, for whatever reason, this movie in the theater had subtitles, and it kind of ruined the movie for me. My first impression of it. I love the movie. It was a great movie, but the subtitles were whack.
Yeah, it's distracting. You want to read, but then you also want to watch. And when you're at home, I get it. But when you're in the theater, no, it's okay. Yeah. It's big enough. You can read their lips. Beside stand-up, what was your favorite job?
Testing movies. Well, I mean, I wish I was a professional musician. I wish my bands kind of made a point to like go somewhere, but I didn't learn how to like do this DIY career that I have now. Looking back on it, I definitely could have applied it to music and figured out a way to make it work, but I just didn't have the confidence to do it. I ended up relying on working in testing video games, but my favorite part of that was testing DVDs. I basically got to watch movies for a living for 8 hours a day, and that was my dream job because I love watching movies. I got to test like the commentary tracks and shit, so I didn't have to listen to all of it, but if I liked the movie, I definitely would. And I basically got an informal movie education, got paid for it, just learning so much about movies. And then I ended up making a few of my own short films that I really enjoyed. One of which actually is in one of my In the Meantime episodes. I got to upload it on my channel, but it's on my YouTube channel. But it's called Dave versus the Chairs, and it's a short film, my first short film I wrote, directed, and made, and all that. And I'm still proud of it. It's a dumb little comedy slapstick thing, and it was before I didn't realize I always thought in comedy terms throughout my life until I consciously got in stand-up. But looking back on it, I was like, oh yeah, I probably should have gotten in stand-up a while ago, but whatever.
That's a good answer. This is a new rapid fire question, but if I'm going to test new questions with anybody, it's going to be with you because you're good-natured. Favorite sex position?
Doggy. And that's not even like, not on all four hand, just the sensual from behind, I think. Yeah, probably that one. It could be even sideways, like the sideways, where she'll be on her back and I'll be going from the side. And then I'm a big fan of the profile of a woman's hips. I remember explaining that to a lap dance, to a girl who was giving me a lap dance one time, and yeah, just so when you see the profile of the hips, that it's why also sometimes horses might turn you on when you see the rump of a nice horse. And not this is not helping me helping anybody's impression of me, but I'm just saying that's you got a nice rump of hips and all that. Yeah, it's and I'm a fan of the Thicc the term thick is popular now, but I was enjoying big asses long before it became I remember my stepsisters were talking shit about Janet Jackson's ass on the Rhythm Nation tour, said that her butt was too big. I said, no, it's not. And if I were you, I would eat some sandwiches, ladies. So
You are a trendsetter and a fortune seer.
damn right.
Fortune teller? Fortune teller. All right. Last rapid fire question for today, and I'll save some for next time. What if we were having shows? What would your walk-up song be right now?
Something by the Melvins, probably. My friend actually play. Well, it's one of two songs. My friend brings me up to Melvin's Boris, which is this very dirgy opening riff that I like. And he's the only one who does that on his show. This is my buddy Sean Boyles, and he runs a show in Hayward. That he'll bring me up with that, and I always like that. But the song I always choose for people to, like if I'm at Cobb's or whatever where they ask for that music, it's Kool Keith, his persona Dr. Octagon, the song Blue Flowers, just because something about Kool Keith and that Dr. Octagon album. There's a lot of people know it, that it's a weird thing because it was popular but also not, and not because I like stuff that's like, I don't know. Kool Keith's a very a subversive rapper. He's a very unusual rapper. Challenges the imagination before, and he was doing it at a time when never got the credit for what he does, except with he's a rapper's rapper kind of thing. And then you got all these rappers today that I think with all of their creativity and kind of abstractness that don't realize that a lot of that kind of owe to Kool Keith in a lot of ways.
Right on. So people should look up Kool Keith and
Definitely.
check out.
And especially if he invented porno rap. Highly recommend, especially people in the sexualized world, check out Sex Styles. That was his groundbreaking album that was around the same time as Dr. Octagon, but it's all sex rap. I'm not particularly into like graphic sex talk or whatever. Kool Keith just raps hilariously. He's funny, and he's creative, and he's got a great voice, and those songs are dope. So check out Sex Styles.
Right on. So if anyone watching wants to check out Kool Keith, you have Mean Dave's recommendation.
High recommendation. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Mean Dave. I'm gonna save the rest of the questions because I can talk for hours with you. And
yeah, we talked for an hour, I think, close to.
Yeah,
So,
but we could do it again, and the internet can get
fun.
used to it because that's what we can do. So thank you for coming on. And where can people find you beside here next week? Where can they find you online if they want to?
I'm always, it's funny, I always forget. First thing, direct. In the meantime, with Mean Dave, look it up on YouTube. I got episodes that are recent from the coronavirus weeks, but also episodes dating back like to 4 to 6 years ago. It's been a project I pick up and at each time, and I've been doing them in the recent coronavirus for the last 8 weeks, and I really enjoy the episodes. I think they've come together pretty good and they're funny. Then also I'm on Instagram and Twitter. You can find my handles there. You'll know which one's me. Just look up Mean Dave, you'll find me. And then running Zoom shows every Thursday at 7. I run a Zoom show called Comedian Show and Tell with my friend Nina G. She's a great guest, actually, if you're looking for more guests for this show.
She's on my list to hit up eventually.
Oh yeah, she's wonderful, and we do that, and then also every Sunday at 6 p.m. we run a show. Me and Erie Diamond run a show called Another Terrible Podcast by Comics in Isolation. That's used to be our podcast, and then since we've been in the quarantine, we just adapted it to Zoom, and we do it live with an audience, and it's been really fun. And so they're both unusual comedy shows. It's not straightforward stand-up, but a lot of the audiences really enjoy it because it's something different. So
right on. Well, people should check you out there because you're one of my favorites, and if you're not one of theirs yet, oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll hit you up later, and I'll say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week.
See you. See you
right.
next week. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
So that's me and Dave, everybody. Little sit-down, extended talk with him. And you can look him up in all those places. And do Venmo if you can, because he's working hard to entertain people. And I think he does a great job. So if you have it, give it. And if you don't, that's fine too. We just like hanging out with people and entertaining people. We need to do that whether there's money or not. So, with that, I think we're going to pull up our last guest. Are we ready? Is he ready? Okay. We'll bring up David Shapiro, actor, comedian, producer, whatever he's doing. David, can you hear me?
Yep. Hey, I can hear you, Suze.
Oh, hey, cool.
Yep. How are you?
I'm all right. What are you wearing this week?
Oh, well, I just got done working out. I never know when you're gonna get to me in your show, so I thought I'd sneak in a quick workout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like, what are you
I've been doing Insanity Max 30 for the last 8 weeks. It's been a workout. No pun intended.
I don't think that's a pun.
Yeah, I'm really bad at puns. I don't actually know if that's a pun.
Yeah, so how's the workout going?
It's pretty good. I almost have my abs back.
Oh?
Yeah, that would be abs version 4.0 for me.
Like a 4-pack?
No, the fourth time in my life that I've had a defined set of abs. They come and go. There was this ice cream sandwich winter.
Let me see.
So this would just be the fourth time in my life I've been able to have visible abs.
Okay, let me see.
No.
Why?
I like the way that I feel with some aerobic exercise in my day, and it makes my clothes fit nicer. So.
But you're not an exhibitionist. Okay, but you want to wear bikini season's coming up.
That's your thing. I don't wear bikinis. I'm a boy. You wear bikinis.
Yeah, I mean, I have to shoot a video this week in a bikini. Could you work out for both of us?
That's not really how it works. I can't work out for you. You have to work out for yourself.
Oh, that's too bad. Because I wish you could.
Yeah. Well, I noticed you have a Bulls t-shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Are you enjoying The Last Dance?
I am, actually. I'm enjoying it a lot.
You're from
ESPN.
Pittsburgh, right?
I am, but we don't have...
So,
yeah, we don't have a team unless you count the Pythons.
Who's that?
The Pythons, the team that Julius Erving played for in last Fish to Save Pittsburgh.
Yes, okay. I remember now.
Yeah, so you have rooted for the Bulls my whole life.
Oh, well then you'll really enjoy the last 2 episodes tonight and the whole series. It's been nice to have sports back in our lives for, if only 2 hours a week.
No, I think I will. I'm really looking forward to watching it.
It seems like, I don't know. What do you want to talk about? It seems like we're talking about sports.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we're talking about sports, so I guess we can talk about sports.
Yeah, well, there's no sports happening right now.
Right.
So just to confirm, you're from Pittsburgh, so you're a Penguins, a Pirates, and a Steelers fan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I actually think it's really cool that all the teams in Pittsburgh have the same colors.
Yeah, black and yellow. We like it.
Yeah.
And then I'm a Bulls fan because we don't have basketball. Where you're from, they're not all the same colors. There's black and red and black and white and black and red and orange and blue and...
I'm not a fan of the last team, so we don't even need to name their colors. It's okay. You can skip them.
Oh, okay.
It would make...
It'd be easier if you guys were all just black and red.
To buy, like hats and apparel and stuff to wear at games, like accessories, if they were all the same, but they're not, so it feels weird to wear a White Sox hat to a Bulls game.
Yeah. Don't you wish they were all the same?
I don't know.
Also, our football teams are kind of similar.
Same city, but not the same colors.
Oh yeah, sorry. Our football teams are similar.
How so?
Good defenses, good running games, good special teams.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of weird to talk about sports though with no sports
happening.
It
is. I agree. The NBA and NHL are looking for ways to finish their seasons. NHL is looking to go just playoffs, and NBA's I'm not sure what they're going to do. But they're working on it. I saw The Jump earlier on Friday, and baseball's trying to figure out how to start with the whole, like, do all the games in Florida, do all the games in spring training sites, which is kind of like basketball, doing all the games in Orlando, all of them, all the teams. And then, football is so far off. This could be over by then or not. So it's, who knows what they're going to do.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to talk about sports with no sports happening. Maybe we don't do this again.
Maybe we try something else next week.
Yeah. I'm still waiting on practical germophobia from you.
I know. I'm sorry. I hopefully will have it done next week. Like I said, it takes time. So you should work on your video. I hope you get it done in time. The one with the bikini. Good luck getting that done whenever. What's your time frame?
I need to have it done by Friday, and I'm filming Tuesday.
Okay. Don't know why you would not give yourself more time. Right?
That's a good amount of time, I think. But anyway, thanks for coming on.
Thanks. Oh, hey, Suzette.
What's up?
I forgot to wish my mom a happy Mother's Day last week. Do you mind if I did it right now on your show?
I mean, I did it for you, but if you need to, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, Mom, I love you so much, and you're the best mom for me. Jan in Arizona. Just in case someone else thought I was talking to them. I don't know why they would. But I love you, Mom. You're the best mom. And I when all of this is over, I can't wait to come see you. And I hope you've had a good week since Mother's Day. And I love you very much.
That was nice.
Thanks. She watches every show.
Yeah, probably because she enjoys seeing me. And she wants to watch.
You couldn't get through one show without being mean a little bit, could you?
No, it's my favorite thing to do is to be mean to you.
I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Be well, Suzette. Bye.
Yep, you too. Bye. So, David Shapiro, and one day he'll have a show that you can watch. And then, like I mentioned to him, I'm working on a music video, maybe with a bikini. And that's going to be part of a virtual drag show on May 23rd with also Virginia Thicc and Madeline Hatter and Laza Valletta. And that's a DJ Pocket show. So if you want to follow Virginia Thicc or me, that's where you can find that show or DJ Pocket. With those videos, I'm going for a music video type thing. So maybe I'll work out a little bit. And that's what I'll be doing this next week until the next show, when I will be having Northern California drag superstar Helen Heels, and then international acclaimed comic Scott Capurro. So check in next week. We don't have anything else, right, Jesse? Any questions from the viewers? Or okay, cool. If you guys have questions, by the way, go ahead and write questions Facebook. You can write questions on Twitch while you're watching. Anyhow, that's the show for this week, and we'll see you next week with Helen Heels and Scott Capurro. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great week. I do that all the time. It's my favorite part of the song anyway, is the start.
Shake it, shake it, yeah, you hot shit, and ooh, I love